back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 4 Man the Guns. We're playing with the new DLC and seeing what's going on and how it's working. We're seeing wackiness here in Yugoslavia, and yes, I have the basic historical national focuses picked. So we're seeing that, and I don't like that. Now let's take a look. There's a lot of naval action here because we have ships out here, and presumably they're running supplies and or transferring. Lost a couple planes. Transferring units to North Africa to fight. I'm liking what I'm seeing with this, and that I'm not seeing huge Vichy fleets. And we're not seeing any German fleets because obviously there wouldn't be down here. So yeah, looks like we may have lost some transports. Okay, so what's going on with that? Well, Hitler and Napoleon got victory disease. Yes, absolutely, IKB. India is not doing much. No. So did Hirohito. Well, I would say no, Hirohito did not get victory disease. The Kuomintang Japanese army got victory disease. They were sort of doing their own foreign policy as regards to China and other things. Hirohito went along with it because he was assured it was either necessary or going to be successful. So yeah, he wasn't driving the ship, as it were. How many destroyers? We'll deal with that in a minute. I want to see we've 366 mines out here, so we're pre-line. Okay, destroyers for base agreement. Having taken a stance against the Germans, the U.S. appear interested in ensuring Britain stands strong against the German threat. They are, however, also concerned with maintaining their own naval presence in the Atlantic. In exchange for several of our bases, they will supply our nation with destroyer ships. Sounds sort of badly phrased, but whatever. The ships have been in reserve, but accepting will still strengthen the military bonds between our nations and may be a wise decision. Now, just as a historical fact, none of the ships, all these ships are all out of date World War I stuff that have been sitting in the mothballs since the 1920s, and basically nothing's been done to them. And so they have almost no anti-submarine capability in the modern sense. Not that they don't have depth charge racks or something, because they did have that in World War I, but they're completely out of date. And by the time they are operating, basically getting into operation, the U.S. has entered the war. So a unique opportunity. So we will. Okay, let's see. We will gain 43 American destroyers. Canada will gain 7 American destroyers. Becomes controller of Bermuda, Newfoundland, the Island Islands. Becomes the owner of Southern Bahamas. Becomes controller of Jamaica, Trinidad. Base's opinion. Yeah, okay. Okay, we'll do this. I don't know. What do you think about that? Having this become American. Not sure if I like that. I don't know. I'm not saying no to it. I'm trying to think with the game mechanics. Could you have just granted them military access or something? I don't know. I would suggest you taking command of some Indian troops and let them dig in against the Chinese border in case Japan takes all. What was the Horo? I'm not sure. I think you're meaning Hirohito, the Japanese emperor? Not sure. Should be the USA just gets basing rights. Yeah. See, that's what I'm wondering, because you now have the new mechanic here of visiting a port visit. So I don't know. This seems a bit dramatic, is all. Especially seeing as how we're losing whatever ICs that may have been here. I don't know if there were any, but okay. What do we have? Call to arms. Okay, we're gonna, yeah. We might as well do that, though we're not going to. Well, I said we're not going to, and then I'm going to do. We're gonna see about sending some fighters, because partially they'll like rebase out and not be stuck there. So we'll give them a little bit of fighter cover. Looks like the Germans are moving their fleet around. I don't know. I heard what you said about yeah. Is India putting too much of its force over here? British Raj. I don't know. I'm gonna hope that we get this secured before the Japanese get in the war. Okay, more military production is available to us. Let's do more fighters. We need more fighters. Yeah, let's do that. All 5 of them. Okay, we also need more aluminum. Or should I say aluminium, because we are playing as Britain? I don't know. Did we lose a lot of... No, we don't need that much. Because we lost some territory with aluminum in it? I wonder. Oh, what? Yeah, oh, you're right. Thanks. Sometimes I don't do that. You want to be up over Yugoslavia, the Western Balkans. Yeah. Oh, did I get 50 destroyers? That's also a good question. That's the Scapa Flow fleet. Oh, well, I don't know. Do I see 50 somethings here somewhere? Maybe they ripped me off. Yeah, see, that's also part of it is I'm losing my basing rights too. Well, I don't think we did yet. Use them for convoy escort, right? Seems it's destroyers. Well, yes, some were supposed to go to Canada. But maybe all of them did? And see, I'm thinking a little bit about, yeah, because basing rights and Strategic Command has a mechanism in which it can grant a port, not the sort of the province behind it, but the port to controlling by a different nation. So that, like, they grant an Irish port, I think down here in Cork or something, to English. They, under one of them, they grant one of the ports down here, whether it's Nantes or Lorient or whatever, to Germany, so that Germany can actually place submarine units there instead of having it being occupied territory, if you will. Yeah, I don't know how, other than allowing U.S. Port visits in there. And unfortunately, and if you have I mentioned that I don't like the state mechanic before? Yeah, I'm saying that facetiously because, of course, I've mentioned it bunches of times. Yeah, we'll do this. We'll get better anti-tank for the future. Looking for, no, those. Looking for like 50. Oh well, they got to be in some theater here, some squadron. No, close. Okay. Well, we'll worry about that later, maybe. Let's push there. Looks like they're deciding to evacuate. Yeah, it looks like, well, or somebody is or something. Maybe they're getting smart and evacuating. Docked in Dover. Well, these have... oh, yeah, you're right. Okay. Here's the thing. 18, because the American destroyer flotillas. Okay, there we are. I was looking for 50, but these are obviously not 50. Okay, well, let's base you out of here. Go to Belfast. Increase some of your range. We don't need you sitting here. We're going to put you up here. We're going to, because we're doing convoy escorts up and around some of these places, I think would be useful. Okay. Well, now that I can't base out of here, or can I base out of here? Yes, okay. Don't know if that's the best place for it. And 10 left here. Let's come down here and base out of Gibraltar for there. There we go. We're gonna put them on. Poland has called free France as our ally in the Polish-Croatian War. Okay. So now we have sort of a new war going here. All of our allies want to come into it because, yes, we... Maybe. Tank destroyers and others are useful, but no, coming to that province. I don't know if I'm even going to build enough tanks for my needs. Well, somehow they made it down to here. Maybe that's where they moved on to, who knows. Well, let's see, we're going to patrol there. Not sure if that would have sunk them, but hey. That is probably a better airport for these guys to base out of. Hello, Mr. Irritation. Okay, no problem, JP. Of course we want you here, but if you need to go for any reason, please do. Okay. I probably don't set my air up as detailed and as well as I should. When, say, if I'm setting up to bombard Germany right now as Britain, if I have enough, and I've been starting to build some heavier bombers here. Well, I was. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I still need to. I'm still researching. Maybe is that what I'm doing? Okay. Yeah, I'm researching heavier. I do sort of do that as night bombers. Right now, mostly I'm just putting them up and up with a up here mission. Right now, no retreat. Day night. That's mostly just what I do is sort of standard. Some types can have better night fighting capabilities and whatnot, and those should be focused on night missions, yes. But that's just sort of how I run without necessarily looking at it too hard. Hello, Woody friend. RIP Hoi4 Discord community. Don't know what that's specifically about. Is it dying? Okay, it means Czech. Czechoslovakia in German is spelled TC whatever. So it means the 38 or 35 or 38 tech or Czech. That's basically, yeah, as Lightfoot, just means German. Everyone got banned basically. Uh-oh. Oh. I hadn't heard anything particular I should know about. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's just a straight TC. Not a T. I don't know. I'm not good at spelling either. Try to remember that, but. Sure, if you want to post a video link, that's fine. So long as it isn't like, you know, some weird, strange thing, I'm cool with it. I'm going to copy link location, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to.
Well, after posting this video,
I'm not going to watch it right now because I don't want it on my recording, but I'm going to bookmark it and watch it later. So a 4-minute video, if somebody wants to go watch it, they can, but I'll watch it later. I'll watch it later, thanks. I do use Discord, but not that much. We were using it earlier today just to operate our War Thunder stuff, but certainly I can't spell anything even. Well, yeah, well, I was educated in California, so I don't have good spelling. Some nations and regions take spelling more seriously or whatever, I don't know, so. Yeah, but that's just what it means. For the like T-34s, when they're moved into German service, they're called something different. I forget, but they have a little parentheses R by them for Russian. They do that for other nations as well. Similar sorts of thing. Okay, keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. You attack there, especially since they started attacking. Okay, you keep moving. We're going to keep swallowing up more territory. Take that factory. Give it to the Free French, actually, but yeah. Oh, LA? Okay, cool. I grew up in LA County. Okay, we now have over 1 million men, which is really cool. We have lots and lots of equipment. We're producing more equipment faster than we're using it, either to build new divisions or to replenish the losses. So let's take a little look at this. We don't have much army experience yet, but let's see what we can do with this. Well, whatever happened to my... Here, okay, we have all these guys that we sent over here. They finally made it here and I haven't been paying attention to them. Okay. Our motorized, mechanized forces. Getting better template, not great template. These are also okay templates, but not great. This was meant for the Desert War, but we've been doing so well. Not sure what we'll use them for now, specifically. I'm not going to try to trap my army fighting in Yugoslavia. Might, if I have forces available, try to occupy Crete or something, but yeah, that could be good. But let's look here. Here. Anti-tank, anti-air. No, we don't need that so much. Oh, what did I do? Just really. Motorized artillery. We already have. Oh wait, I keep meaning to just sort of shut this down. We already have support artillery, which, yes, this is more. What if we were to add that? Medium tanks. Okay, we need 250. We have 182, so not enough. That's partly why we've been building them. So, remove that. Let's see if we add another motorized infantry element. Okay, we have the motorization in that, so we're going to do that. That's only going to cost us 5. Well, if we also add in that 10 more artillery, yeah, okay, we'll do that. We'll do that, and which each up's about that. But we're going to add a few more units here. Let's see if we can add a unit of Indians. Yeah, I think that's good for the moment. I see the oh, sure, you can see the Dutch division template. Where did they go? Here? No. Down here, I think. Yes. Here we go. We were gonna fight in Yugoslavian places, but we didn't need to. There, I think that is it. Oh, no, it's here. Okay. Just 9 infantry brigades. So not much. I think that is it for, yeah. So yeah, these may end up going to India or something. I don't know. Or maybe I should send them back over here. Yeah. No, let's send some of them over here. Click the port. Otherwise, we'll try to send it overland. Click the port. There we go. Get on board ship, horsies. No, we want to. Okay, well, let's remove the things we don't want. Yeah, I don't want to send everything. Send these guys. Click the port. Click the port. Okay, send some reinforcements over here to fight off these Germans. Sardinia, maybe. Why not Sicily? If we're going for invading Mediterranean islands, why not Sicily? Take Sicily, land there, take Sicily, and get that. That's a maybe, not a no. I'm not sure. Like I said, I sort of maybe want to grab up Crete because I think I can hold Crete. Maybe I should go after Rhodes too. Just I don't know that it would be a good idea to do a land war in. Yes, we have no bananas. While our severe rationing program does not extend to fresh fruit, the shadow of war means that we're lacking most of our capacity for imports. Many former commodities from the tropics are therefore now unattainable luxuries, including such things as lemons and bananas. In keeping the wartime spirit, shopkeepers have taken to hanging signs in their windows reflecting the jolly old show tune. Unfortunately, there is also a shortage of string beans and onions, cabbages and scallions, and all kinds of fruit. But the British spirits keeps it up. They like they say that there's some things that Britain doesn't feel they need to ration. It just doesn't get put on ships, you know. So theoretically, I don't know if anybody ever did this. I'm not saying they did, but theoretically, if you were, say, a Irish registered ship, if you don't know, neutrals like the Swedes, the Spanish, the Portuguese, the Irish, they would paint huge flags on the sides of their ships and that type of thing to go, hey, this is an Irish ship, and register with the combatants when they're sailing, where they're sailing, to try to do this. Switzerland had like, I don't know, like 4 ships. You go, Switzerland? Yes. They had like less than 10, if I remember correctly. And they were allowed to travel around unmolested. They would use, I think, Genoa as their sort of home port, and then ship stuff. They would be taken off, sealed in boxcars on trains, and taken to Switzerland, and vice versa. Stuff could be shipped out of Switzerland in there, and go past Gibraltar and go wherever, and be unmolested. So Switzerland, Sweden. Now there were some inspections by different combatants on both sides of some of these vessels, just to see if what they were carrying is what they said they were carrying. So those are going on. So theoretically, somebody in one of the Latin American countries, or in obviously in Jamaica or wherever, could buy bananas, put them on board a ship, get them to Ireland, and then from there sell them to Britain. Well, there's not going to be enough of them that there's going to be an inflation situation. So whatever anybody was willing to pay for them, you could have them. We're just, there's no point in rationing them. The few that are going to trickle in, and I presume there's a few that trickle in like that. I just don't know right offhand. It isn't going to cause any real problems, and so we're just going to live with that. They do ration, not like, if I remember correctly, not with like ration cards or coupons, but they put on a limit in Britain on how much strong alcohol you could be served, at a time, a day, or whatever. But they don't ration beer. Beer is unrationed through the war. So as much as you could afford to buy, people could buy of beer. So they do ration whiskey and other hard spirits. So there is that. I think wine is an unrationed thing, and just whatever anybody has, people are willing to spend on it. But obviously they're, again, not importing that much. So Sardinia is easier. Okay. Take Sicily and some more the southern boot. You take Sicily, make sure you take the strait, so you cut off. Yeah, JP, you're absolutely right. That's what I was thinking. If we did landings in Messina and are able to cut off and hold there, that's where I would do that. And you're right, it would be easier to take these two. But to a point is just why? What's the purpose? Well, I can think of some, but without America in the war, what's my purpose? Just to mess with the Italians? Just to do it because people want to see it done? Or do we try to hold here and try to get forces, which we're having popping up? I thought we were popping up in the London area. Well, we can drop these guys. We're going to send forces to try to hold India, Burma, Singapore, and whatnot there. And so you see, I totally get, and I'm not in any way suggesting don't give me suggestions, please do. But like to know why you want to see certain things too, because yeah, we could do that, but would it be better to send our troops to fight here? No, I can't change the templates. I can change these templates, it appears, to any other foreign template, but I can't change them to a British template, and I can't change their templates, I believe. Let me go in and check just to make sure, because I think that was the case that I found. Let's come here, edit. Maybe I could. But I don't know if it's worth that. Don't know. No, I can't even do that because normally it would say, because if I come here and do this, if I add that, no. Well, no, maybe I could. No change because I don't have enough. We'll wait and see if I get enough points. See if I can do that. I thought I couldn't, but maybe I can. Just want to know. Historically, fighter bomber, and tactical bomber, and strategic bombers were based out of Sardinia. Yeah, and that is a reason to do so. That is most assuredly a reason to do so. Okay, you come up, reinforce that. You guys just come to here now. Okay, we sent off these guys to here, and they're going to do convoy escorts here and here. We're going to form more fighter squadron. No, with the air base. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, we just have a bunch of Gloucesters. We need to increase fighter production. So we're going to use some of our Sea Gladiators just to sort of have some fighters. And let's add in some swordfish. You're going to do that. We're going to add in more swordfish because we can only operate in one zone at a time. You know, 30 is pathetically small in this game. I'm going to use some of these guys to give us a bit more range. We can see, and we're going to do some more. And you're going to deploy over here, go out there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. That way we'll have some air power there as well. Might not be enough, but it'll be some. Yes, of course, mainly American aircraft. That can almost go without saying. Everything is mainly American aircraft. The Allied side, that is. We'll send you this way. pressure on those tanks. More production capabilities. I think we're not exactly sure. Are we building more factories? I didn't think so. Don't know. We need more fighters, don't we? We get through with our those. Okay. More fighters. These guys know they haven't showed up yet, of course. But so far, our allies are doing fine down there. I'm a little worried about counter invasion, so we'll. Well, come and cut those guys off. Cryptologic bomb, very good. Which we could do the Tazard mission. Which would be nice. I mean, just about all these are nice, but Tech Suez doesn't look like we need to be doing that. Okay, got that. We're not doing any of that stuff off on the far side there. Develop these guys. I want to do that as well as everything else, but research naval doctrines, that would be good. Sort of where I'm thinking of. Getting ready to get the airplanes from the exiled countries. I don't know that we have. Don't know that we have. We got some units, we got some equipment, we got some leaders. Oh, wait a minute. I know we do. Let's click here. Here. We do. Like this, carrier 1, whatever, D 376, I'm guessing French. Yeah, Latte here, these naval bombers, these had to come from France at the close of the French War. Obviously not much. We might have got some fighters or something that's already been put into the meat grinder, but we've gotten a little bit of stuff. So yes, we do get that. Okay, we were looking at this. I think September 40, we're going to start doing Fortify East Asia. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we'll do that. Wow, look at this. Since we've started our escorting missions and our air attacks, these are air, obviously, against German convoys supplying North Africa, or German and Vichy convoys, it looks like. But we've mostly been losing aircraft. Oh, well, they've got some battleships and such. The Vichy fleet is out here. Well, we did just notice we have the Vichy fleet out here, didn't we? Well, Churchill says we should sink that fleet, doesn't he? Okay. Yay, come back into port. We're going to move it to this British theater here. And we're gonna, because we're not gonna tell the anybody that we're moving away a good portion of the British fleet, and they're coming down to Gibraltar. So they're going to come around that way. Good. Yeah, good, out to sea. I really don't think we're going to be oh, yes. Yeah, let's see about, yeah, you guys can come down there. What else might we want to move down? Their battleships. You've been shot up a bit and they're repairing. Okay, we could lay sea mines out here maybe, or somewhere. So you come down here too. What do naval bombers do badly against? Yeah, I don't know. Quite honestly, I don't pay attention to the stats when we're talking about this. Why don't I? Because I'm going to let it up to modders to figure out in detail. So if I'm going to decide to like dig into aircraft stats, then I'm going to do so. But I'm going to sort of trust when some modders like Black Ice, though I'm less trustful than I used to be, were to say come up with what the Condor, the Focke-Wulf 200, the German long-range bomber, come up to try to simulate the stats of that bomber as correctly as possible. I'm going to try to trust that they're doing a good job, and so I'm going on more on their roles, their role in the war than what their particular stats are in the game. So, and since I know what they were historically, you guys can come down here and join in crushing them. That's sort of how I'm going to play. These pilot promoted, good. I am not the best stats player, and okay, Yugoslavia, like we thought, has collapsed. We get some rifles, some support equipment, and some other junk. Okay, so we can see here some weapons, some improved artillery, towed artillery, some Renault FT-17s. Yeah. Okay, so we got a little bit of junk from them, and a convoy. We got a convoy. Yugoslavia's capitulated, so we got some Yugoslavian junk. And I'll tell you, like we got some Polish junk. Obviously, the way this situation was, we could not have evacuated any Yugoslavian stuff. But I'm not upset by it, like I am still upset about Croatia, the way it was formed. I'm, what happened to Bulgaria. Because, okay, you have an imperfect mechanic. It is very appropriate for, say, France, Belgium, Netherlands, to have some of their equipment evacuated. that is appropriate. And so, yeah, we could try, try to make some mechanic on limitations, but I'm not that. Weren't the Yugoslav rifles based on the Mannlicher M95? I don't know. The Poles used the Mauser. The Czechs used the Mauser. I have a Czech Mauser from the interwar period. The Mauser design. It's different than the standard German, but both the Poles and the Germans, or the Czechs, used the German caliber, so they're the exact same caliber of weapons. The Belgians used the Mauser, the Belgian Mauser. So those guys used the Mauser. I don't know. I thought the Yugoslavs used a Mauser rifle, but I don't know. You're talking Yugoslav as opposed to earlier Serbian stuff that they were using, some sort of Mannlicher rifle. And I'm sure there was surplus of those rifles around that were being used. But my impression was a Mauser, but I don't know right offhand. I definitely know the Czechoslovaks and Poles were using Mausers. A lot of Latin American countries were using Mauser rifles, made mostly by Belgium, especially if they were made in the interwar period or whatever. But well, we got a Yugoslav leader. You support that attack. We want to crush this German unit. You support that attack. I don't want you going anywhere, just put pressure on another front. Come on, kill this before they have to retreat out of there. Okay, more factories. Yeah, we're repairing damaged factories. Oh! Somehow Italy made it back here. Was there an outbreak of something? Or is this... Oh, this is Vichy, so they got... Oh, bloody hell. Okay, well. Hello, guys. Come up here. We got troops to deal with that. Okay, free or available factories. We're going to increase our production. So I know the Poles used anti-tank rifles in World War. Yes, they had an anti-tank rifle. Many countries had an anti-tank rifle. Germany did. Yeah, the Finns did. I don't know about all of the various. I think the Germans actually sort of like the Polish anti-tank rifles, if I remember correctly. Don't know that the French develop an anti-tank rifle. No. They have an anti-balloon rifle or machine gun, if I remember correctly. That's why the reason the 50 caliber machine gun is designed the way it is, the ammunition for it, is because the French were dealing with the various balloons that the Germans were using, and they wanted a large caliber round, partially to be able to shoot long distances, but also to be able to carry a powder charge in it that was burning for a long time, a tracer round, as you're all familiar with that, in essence, so that once it goes up and hits the balloon that's filled with hydrogen, it will catch on fire. So they want if I remember all this correctly, in late World War One. I could be wrong on some of the details. Sorry, but so they want a round that can go up there and be still on fire once it gets there and ignited on fire. Because if you don't have a tracer round, as you can see, there's, what is it called, Zeppelin or whatever, a movie starring York, about a fictitious German commando raid on Scotland with using a Zeppelin. It's a cool movie, but completely fictitious. You can see as the fighters at the time would come up and shoot and put holes in the gas bags, and it would just slowly lose the gas. So eventually they figure out the tracer thing. And that's why the 50 caliber is sort of designed the way it is, and it turns out to be, of course, a wonderful thing. Where like the German anti-tank bullets, if you look at them, they're the same diameter as the standard German rifles, 7.92. I do believe the actual bullet is a bit longer, but the cartridge behind it is just god-awful big. And of course they use like a steel core in it to be able to punch through. So there's different kinds of philosophies on it. The British used the 55 caliber Boys anti-tank rifle, which is also a biggie on it, big diameter thing. The Soviets used a 14.5 anti-tank rifle, even though they have a 12.7 millimeter anti-tank machine gun, if you will. Surprising Mexico had some built design rifles, semi-automatic. Yes, well, they didn't used a home. No, they didn't build any of those rifles, JP. They had no ability to build that rifle. All those rifles were built in Switzerland. It was a Mexican designer. He designed them. They bought a reasonable number, but still fairly small number, the Mandragon. You're absolutely right about that. But Mexico had, and I think to this day, has no ability to build rifles. They don't have an arms industry in Mexico of any substantial. I do know of some pistols, but pistols are easy to build. Rifles, they're high pressure things and they're hard to do. Yeah, much longer, but also the cartridge, the thing behind it was much bigger in diameter too than the standard one. The Germans impressed by the Danish anti-tank guns taking out their pet. Okay, now the Danes didn't so much have I don't think they had any anti-tank rifles. What they had was a 20 millimeter, and they're different than different countries use different 20 millimeter. They're all 20 millimeter diameter, but different cartridge lengths. Theirs is a sort of a light cannon, and yeah, it was good that they used, and so that's pushing it more into a light anti-tank cannon that was particularly light and easy to move around, and they did like that. The Danish one, that is true, but still fairly small numbers compared to other production numbers, quite honestly, as well. Well, they escaped. Well, I've sort of been keeping these in reserve. What the hell? We're going to send all the Panzers to deal with this over here. And of course, my first tendency is to go at sea, but I'm just not doing sea stuff right in the Mediterranean, I don't think. Oh yes, to the Mexican design. Yeah, I don't want to discount Mexican ingenuity or design capabilities, but their manufacturing capabilities, especially something high tolerance like that. The rifle, if you look at it, most nations prior to World War I, or in the very early stages of World War I, come up with a semi-auto rifle. I don't know if you realize this. Most nations do. But the rifles are so finicky, so impractical, that they're never even really considered for military use. They're just sort of you know, ooh, isn't this neat? This high tech something or other. And so, didn't we move you to your own fleet? Yeah, okay, I think so. We are going to actually, because there are a bunch out there, we're going to actually go out and patrol. Move from strike force to patrol to there. Okay, and use submarines. We're going to, yes, you guessed it, mine here. All to hell. We're mining the oceans. Yes, you're absolutely right, JP, about that. The cannon. That's sort of why the 14.5 is, I would consider it a rifle. I put cannons as 20 millimeters and above. I know what you're saying about the Geneva Convention, but I just personally, my nomenclature, a cannon is a 20 and above. Yeah, they had a Maxim, 4 guns in a row mounting system for their the Soviets did. I think it actually may don't quote me on this. It may no probably Soviet. I'm trying to remember if I remember any World War One. I don't think it's a World War One. I think it is a Soviet design. Soviet to mount the 4 Maxims, and yeah, they put some on the backs of trucks as well as just mounting them on the ground. Most assuredly, Germans used just about every one of them they could get their hands on. They were quite effective. Yeah, you're going to smash in there while we try to reoccupy that province. Okay, we're up here now. Great. Okay. Peoples from all over the world that are threatening my colonies. Or, no. I just want, no. Stop. One of you. Come here. And no, I'm not even hardly looking at what their orders of battle are, because they're not necessarily very good, I know that. But we're mostly just moving into places to deal with these guys. And we're going to grab the motorized ones and rush down here and port that. These guys ever make it? They're probably still coming that way. Okay, you are attacking there, so we're going to support your attack. Maybe you'll be successful if we do. Yeah, these guys need heavier tanks and more of them, I think. I'm hoping they'll come in and block occupation there. No, that didn't happen. Belgian exile leader. I think this is just a random thing, but really? Really? The Belgians are going to have a black leader? Really? If you know anything about the Belgian Congo. Luxembourg, okay. How many leaders do they have but Luxembourg? See, I'm just looking for historical accuracy. I'm not trying to make any social commentary or, oh, what are you talking about? No, just we're talking history. Okay, 50 BMG was what they had at the time, I believe. I think most cannons started 20 millimeter. Yes, AK-47 fire 7.62. No, by 39. Yeah, JP, you should know that one. AK-47 is 7.62 by 39. The Mosin Nagant and the Maxim fire the 7.62 by 51. I believe it's from the Belgian Congo. That could be, but the Belgian Congo would not have a black military leader. Trust me on that. They weren't into Boko and Tshombe, and I'm forgetting some of the other things. Yeah. And of course, the AK-74 has a 5.45, something like that, stuff. Really light, lighter than the M16. Okay, they could use some reinforcements, so they'll go. These guys are getting attacked. 6-pounder. Okay, how are we currently doing for our anti-tank needs? Okay, we have many more than we need. Okay, that's good to know. We have many more than we need. So we're going to cut down, well, we're going to cut down to 2 and improve it. Check naval battles. Okay, we will in a second. That gets us, we now have 25 doing Spitfires. That's probably, or yeah, that's probably enough for that. More naval bombers. And we also need more aluminum. I don't know. Yes, if I say, yeah, 54R is that. And you're right about the NATO, 7.62. NATO 51. 308. Okay, and we just got the 6-pounder. You Navy guys, you know how to blow things up, but you know. Well, let's improve our, well, I don't know, 1940 Bren gun carriers for mechanized forces, Marines, paratroopers, special forces. We'll try that. No, we're still researching our heavy bombers. Page Halifax, 24 days, then we'll start building some. Yeah, the Belgians do a lot. You know, under Leopold, it's really, really bad, and I don't want to minimize that. But after, they really do improve the situation. It's no longer a horror show. But how do I put this? Some nations some colonial nations do a better job at trying to educate and develop local populations. Other nations just don't do that at all, of any sort of program. The Belgians, early on, the Belgian Congo is a horror show. By this time period, the best of my knowledge, and I'm not the greatest expert on it, it is no longer anything like that. I'm not saying that if you started a local rebellion, they wouldn't brutally put it down. But they were no longer doing that. But I don't think there's any idea, and they definitely recruited black troops, the Belgians did. But I don't even know if they had anything like black sergeants. Now, the British, they were definitely doing black sergeants. I don't know if they were doing any black officers in Africa. And now, the British treated West Indian blacks and the West Indian units, including having fighter pilots coming out of, black fighter pilots coming out of Jamaica, different than they're treating these people. And this is one thing that you have to realize. A lot of this is, it's 545 by 50. Yeah, you're getting that right. That's right. Is where is again sort of is my view of cultures. We can talk about all the wrongness that you want to talk about, but that isn't my point at the moment. But by bringing Africans to places like Jamaica and Haiti and Dominican Republic and Cuba, you're now enculturating them. You're now transmitting elements of European culture to them. Now, of course, Haiti is a horror show because that's the way the French ran it. And because of their path to independence, it becomes even more of a horror show. One of the most racist places on the world, that my understanding, is Haiti. The lighter your skin you are, the more elite you are. Now, they only want black people. They don't want white people. This doesn't go outside of that. But if you're really dark, really African, you don't have the ability to climb in Haitian society, to my understanding. It's very skin gradient. That's my understanding. I could be wrong, but that's just that. But you can see the difference between, Haiti's really bad. I say this, but if you go to like Guadeloupe and some of these other French Caribbean places, it's not that way with the black population. So because you see this here, the British are going to treat Jamaicans, soldiers, pilots, potential officers, different than they're going to treat them out of Africa. And trust me, Rhodesia is a different place than South Africa in the way these things happen. Rhodesia is much more British. So you find East African and West African units recruited up for the war. I don't know if they had sergeants in those. They probably did, but there were definitely, to the best of my knowledge, no black African officers within the British military system at this time in World War II. Similarly for the Belgian Congo, similarly for the French elements. So yeah, having that show up as black, and I don't know if that's just a random, a generic officer pull up, because they increased it a bunch of generic officers with various darker skin tones, and appropriately so, that if you were going to release this as Zaire or Congo Brazzaville, if you, or Mozambique, you're gonna, I like this, yay, gamers please, gamers happy, yay. I've ranted about this, including with Total Realism Project for Hearts of Iron 3 or 4 or whatever, to what's his name who creates it. They gave the Mozambican flag to Mozambique. Why are you claiming the Mozambican flag to Mozambique is wrong? Because it has an AK-47 on it. They wouldn't have had an AK-47 before the AK-47 was made. So don't put the freaking AK-47 on the flag in a pre-AK-47 world. So I'm happy now that this is a sort of fictitious flag. Fine. And so that now, maybe if this was going to be a communist country, it might slip over to AK-47. So I just object to the AK-47 being on the flag at this time period, not anything else about the flag. So if you wanted to do it without the AK-47, Whether you want to do it with communist stars or hammer and sickles, depending on the government viewpoint, that's another thing entirely. But don't put it out there. So yeah, so you need, because if you're going to release these nations, fine, good. Whether we're liberating them from the Portuguese fascists, or whether we are Portugal and just getting rid of our colonial dependence. Either way, that's fine. You need some various different ethnic group peoples, generic generals in there. Perfectly fine. It just was, the Belgians wouldn't be doing that kind of thing, is all that was. Maybe good research heavy fighters for use. Yeah, I've thought about that, but it just always comes down to what would I rather be having research done. You're right. Just more. Well, we're gonna end the episode here. Not the stream, guys. Not the stream. Gonna end the episode here. I want to thank you all for watching. Thanks for liking the videos. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And of course, I love hearing from you. So if you would post a comment, really love that. And of course, love to have you check out one of my other videos. One of the ones popping up on the screen now, or one of the other recommended videos that helps with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks so much. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron.